Hello and welcome to the Functional Forum. What do you think? Best venue so far? There's a lot of people who have been here a few times. Yeah, super excited for tonight. Got an epic lineup. We finally got a situation where we can do the kind of fun things we want to do with video. The very first Functional Forum, what we said is that we were going to show videos that you could curate for your patients. And I think that any of you who are interested in brain health, you can see videos like that Ted are making are really useful and exciting. So great to have you guys all in here today. There are some legends of the field of health and neurology right here. We got Mr. Kale himself, Drew Ramsey. You getting a dopamine response from that Kale? He gets that. Dr. Richard Isaacson. You're going to see him later doing some the first preventative Alzheimer's for preventative work with Alzheimer's. We got Max. Welcome, Max. Dr. J. Lombard. It's a whole crew. Hey, so look, this is the most important topic, and so glad you could be here. But the reason I just wanted to mention before we start, there's a few people that have made this possible. GenoMind, who is sponsoring today. Dr. J. Lombard is the medical director, and really excited to have them on board. N1 Health, we're going through a bit fast. N1 Health for doctors who want to do a concierge conversion into functional medicine. They're investing in practice actively, and we thank them a lot for their support of the Functional Forum ongoing. Just this last weekend, I was in San Antonio, Texas, and we went to go to this Freedom Practice coaching seminar. And part of our vision here at the Functional Forum is to empower functional and holistic doctors to be the next brand of entrepreneurs to be able to change healthcare from within, grassroots, and I think they're going to have a big role to play. You'll hear a lot more about that at the end and next month. Sakara Life, who enjoyed their kale salads. Let's have a shout out for Sakara Life. And also Healthy Habitats, who are one of our great sponsors, and they are here making the food. So we're going to talk about the evolution of brain health, and it has been just a flood of awesome new science that's been coming out recently. And so I just wanted to go through and show you some of the cool stuff that's been happening. So this was coming up. I don't know if you saw this, but there was this thing on WebMD which said there was an ad on WebMD. And if you participated in that ad as well, if you clicked on it to do a brief questionnaire, every possible permutation of things that you could put into that ad told you that you had a psychiatric disorder. Right? So to me, it's good marketing, but there's a lot of brief depression questionnaires that are going on in primary care that are sending people into the psychiatric medical system, and I think this is an interesting study just to see like how this kind of care is being delivered. The next thing I want to look at is looking at some of the science that's showing, what is the majority of things that we're using for psychiatric conditions. These antidepressants, they're rapidly altering brain architecture, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that later. This is pretty fresh, actually. I think this is just 2 days old. Pesticides used by farmers linked to high rates of depression and suicide. We're going to talk a little bit about that later, environmental factors, and that's certainly a big concern. And so, now we're looking at what are we actually going to do about it. And some of the most exciting things, and who's here is excited about the Brain and Gut Journal, first clinical journal. Well, I know why you're not that excited, because it's not coming out till 2016 now, so you have to wait a bit for that. So we just basically got all the best people on the Evolution of Medicine Summit, which was last month, and we had, Dr. Perlmutter, Dr. Ari Voljani, who were two of the editors, and also Leo Gallen's got some stuff in there. So we just finished that, and there's a lot of great stuff in there. You'll have to wait a little bit further for Brain and Gut. But now we're also even talking about acute issues like multiple sclerosis, looking at the intestinal barrier damage in multiple sclerosis. If you're a functional medicine doctor, you've known this for a long time, but more and more stuff is coming out. Neurogastroenterology, gastrointestinal dysfunctions, looking at acute brain injury, not just chronic brain issues. So this is interesting stuff that's coming out. Obviously, there's a whole lot of stuff between the microbiome and the brain, and so there's been a lot of good research coming out almost every day about the microbiome, and particularly with this type of issue as well. And so, this was just the other day. So this is Friday, October 3rd, so it doesn't get much fresher than this. University of Maryland School of Medicine essentially have identified a new pathway linking the brain to high blood pressure. So when we're talking about the brain today, we're not just talking about, we're going to talk about potentially Alzheimer's as type 3 diabetes. We're going to talk about the metabolic connections of the brain. but you can see that this is really interesting. There's no conclusions from this yet, but at least we're finding out more about it. So, you know, if you're going to do one thing for your patients, obviously you want to go turmeric. There's literally, is there anything that this spice can't do? It tastes delicious. You know, if you're a big fan of Drew Ramsey and you love a kale chip, you might as well have the curry flavor, because that's got it all in there. It's sort of yellow on the outside. Looks a bit weird, but it is delicious. And then this is the big news. Memory loss associated with Alzheimer's reversed for the first time. It's a small trial from UCLA, but it's really exciting to see this being reversed. And so we're going to talk a lot more about that. So, two of the people that you're going to see tonight are actually featured in this article that was in the Wall Street Journal. And this is basically Alzheimer's prevention for 30-somethings with no symptoms, and that's what we're going to get into tonight. You can see the acute importance of getting this right now. And so, yeah, we're going to get on with the show here.